property, Mary wanted to change the inside, so it was more like the inside of an oyster shop. So they painted all of this woodwork very light. And there was a gentleman by the name of James Gamble Rogers, who was a close friend of theirs and who did there's very few of her gardens that still remain in existence. This is considered one of Connecticut's, I think it's 5 or 6 historic gardens. All of the photos that you'll see are actual. They were taken in the 20s, and they were taken for insurance purposes. Mm-hmm. So this is how the mansion was furnished. They didn't really place a lot of value in the antique, and all of the different stages are still in existence. So you can see a lot of it. So, but you'll see here again, the arched windows and all the cross breeds that can happen in this room. This was the music room, and you can see it was set up with a baby grand over here in this space. Mary herself was an accomplished pianist, and she also enjoyed charades and masquerade balls, and this is where they have their entertainment. This panel is really cool because this is the inside of that carriage house. So starting over here, the dog bathing room, yeah. And this was really, a combination of man cave / servants' quarters. So male servants actually lived in the upstairs there. And they also, in addition to having the horses there, they those were the recreational horses. There's other stables that are behind this white house that are down, down this lane here that had the workhorses. And then the other thing that's really cool about the carriage house is there is still actually a turnstile, and it was built to have made to be reminiscent of an Italian garden. And again, Beatrix did all of the garden work, and the Friends are trying to help the state of Connecticut restore what the mansion used to look like when it was more styled after the Italian Renaissance. So this is that fireplace there. So you see, there was a barrel ceiling here. There, everything was tall, ornate, lots of tile. Mary and James Gamble Rogers came in, replaced this all with wood, simplified the fireplaces. And this is the lights that you see are all original, so except in her morning room. Okay. So these are all original. This chandelier is original. But then, she would have changed out this whole, frame between the two rooms. And this was one of two. This is called Luna Falls, but it was set up, so that the seating faced the water. And they just used to everybody else. We're going to start right in here. So this is a really neat story here. These are Tiffany, Louis Tiffany. Have you heard of him? Yes. Okay. Well, his family also used to summer down in London, which is the next town over. And these are alabaster lampshades, and one of them, the one in the middle, actually broke. And they didn't know what to do until they thought of getting someone who knew how to solder together. And even the molding in the ceiling, and I'm sure all these different is still in their gorgeous. So Mary wanted this enclosed. She wanted it to be a breakfast room. She wanted it to be a place where, she could come in and just have peace and quiet. And it's really to be listening to tennis, So, but they were also. I'll show you a little, thing about the well, those flowers were really pretty. That wedding that they had here yesterday. That's the other thing that's fun to do. Is like when there's a wedding, you can just sit, have your dinner, listen to it. So there is a wedding. And I just can't imagine somebody being so talented that they could take a block of marble and, you know, see this inside of it. And yeah, all right, so now we'll go see Edward's office. And we also have an infinity. I forgot to, well, actually, I didn't forget. I didn't think they'd be interested because they didn't have kids. And at the end, the last thing the woman says to me is, you know, I thought I remembered when I was a kid, there was this era. Oh my gosh. the one group I didn't show it to. So this is Edward's office, and you'll notice the dark wood in here. And while they were living here, this was the only room that had the dark wood. That is a picture of Edward, and this is what the room looked like when he was here. He died in 1940. And so Mary went and renovated it, you know, like if the room turned into a sitting room. And then the state of Connecticut had to come back in the mid-90s and do a lot of restoration work. So they painted this back to resemble more what it looked like. Whose office is it now? This is State of Connecticut's office now. Yeah, you know, not the tiniest, but that's Mary when she was younger. So have you guys heard of Mystic Seaport? So Mary purchased the original buildings and she restored the Charles W. Morgan. So butler would have been a male always, and the butler would have received the food from the cook and decided, he would have plated it actually, you know, decided what china and whatever. You'll notice everything has a lock. Behind you, sir, there's a safe that contains the silver. But they did have, you know, a nice chest here.
Oh, wow.
And the sink is actually made of Monel. It's spelled M-O-N-E-L, and it's a precursor to stainless steel. And it's very, very expensive. So don't steal it. So this was a very, very innovative building for its time. It had 3 lines to a telephone. It also had a call system, so the servants no longer had to answer to a ringing bell. And then it had an intercom system so the servants could talk to each other. So it just made things more efficient. James also pushed out the walls here in the servants' wing and made sure the cook had cross ventilation and had an exhaust fan, which was unusual for, you know, that era for the servants' comfort to be cared about. This port is really interesting. All of it is what is still in the basement with the exception of this boiler. The boiler is in the carriage house, but this is the iron machine, the wine cellar. That's a coal-fired dryer, so you hung your laundry on the racks. And there's an elevator, traction gear. The laundry sinks are really cool in that they're connected by that Monel, but the Monel is wide enough so that the worker would be able to have, like, you know, bottles of cleaner or rags, brushes, sponges, whatever. And then that's their washing machine. That's kind of interesting too. The stove was coal-fired. The food for the servants would have been delivered through that doorway on that side. And this salamander is kind of like your precursor to a broiler oven where it cooks the food from the top instead of from the bottom.
Are these 2 different rooms?
No, you can go either way. On my right over here is a cold room. And then this room served as the pass-through for the food, but this was also where the 3 girls who worked here in the summer, who did all the flowers that you saw just in the morning room or the garden room, this is where they worked. This is the cutting room. The Harknesses were known, and still are known actually, as being one of the most philanthropic couples in America. They, in 1917, for privacy purposes. And this servant's, the wing, this is for 9 servants. Each bedroom has a desk, a closet, a bed, and a wash basin. Excuse me. And here's where the dumbwaiter comes up. And I know I can't tell, but some of the bedrooms are larger than others. And they do all have transoms, which would have allowed for airflow. They didn't have air conditioning, so you needed, the windows to be open to get that cross breeze. And the only women would have been up here.
Yeah.
And they would have shared this half back here as well as this full back here. But the head housekeeper, she would have been like, the commander of the army here. And if you notice again, everything's locked. They would have known how many of this and how many of that they had. And, and then they had a lot of linen because there's a storage, more storage here, and then there's another, storage. But they did have 5 more bedrooms. They do have 5 more bedrooms. I don't know which they tends to use. They do because the state rents this out mostly weddings, private entourage. You can come up here and get grass. The flowers are obviously left over from yesterday's wedding. But this would have been the premier guest room. Nice view, you can see what's going on. There's 2 views, but each of them, all and me came in the back door. Right, but it actually is a little, available for a bird to get in. It was built, we were supposed to, yeah, we were supposed to auction it off, and that's what we said, quite the birdhouse, we gotta keep it. Excuse me.
Bless you.
So Edward was instrumental in removing and opening up King Tut's tomb and getting it into the Metropolitan Museum of Art. This is, like James Campbell Rogers' work. This is the Yale Tower. And this is actually Mary's set of ivory dresser items. This was, I forgot the word, an artist was making studies for those 2 pictures on that wall there. This is their cottage in Montauk, their townhouse in New York City, one of their 7 limousines. She actually had an electric car. This was actually a working dairy farm. Not only did they feed and then go out on the Thames River, entertain everybody for the day. They even hired one time a band at a New London mansion in 06. The guy they bought it from in 07, and he ended up working for Edward. And so this was over and over again. We've seen, their guest book, and it's the same people who have signed the book year after year. The lamps are really neat because they just pull down, so if there's a desk and you just need more light, and then you just push it back up again. They probably still work, but I don't think I'm molding and the chair molding. But I just love that fireplace. I just think that's so, especially with the,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah.
And the bathroom.
And the bathroom, yes, I'm definitely gonna go in the bathroom. The neat thing about the bathroom is, I told you, Mary started Camp Harkness because they believed that the salt water would help with the polio, but she also believed it would help with arthritis, and she suffered with arthritis, especially at the end of her life. She was confined to a wheelchair, so she needed the elevator to get her up and downstairs. But what she also did is she had salt water installed, that's why the faucet's corroded. And she was able to take hot salt water baths in here.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and then she also had a heat lamp. I don't know if you noticed, all the bathrooms have those heat lamps underneath the windows on the chilly mornings. They were usually here May to September, sometimes as late as October. They actually found pictures of Halloween parties here in October, so that's pretty late in the year. So that was a birthday gift from Mary to Edward. They were over in Amsterdam, and Edward fell in love with it, so while he was away on a business trip, she had it installed for him. The other thing the other rooms had were fire escapes.
Mhm.
So if needed, they were able to, you know, unroll it, throw it over the plant box, because, you know, the plant
Yeah.
box was there first,
Right.
and escape. The shaving stand and the trunk, those are original to the house. So those are the only two pieces that I'm aware of, though, that are original to the house.